I'd love if we could take one breath together, emptying the lungs completely, and then take a long and full inhale through the nose, pausing at the top of your inhale and hold it. Maybe you sip in even a little bit more air, extending this pause. And then open the mouth for the exhale, release. And keeping the eyes closed, let's drop the chin into the chest. Start to round through the back body, so tucking the tailbone down and in, and then bring the hands to the base of the skull. Elbows pull in towards each other so that you're bringing some length down the back of the neck. And active round through the back body, so pressing the heart into the space behind you. On your next inhale, we're going to do the opposite. Let's pull the heart through the shoulders. Elbows peel apart and down, and lift the chin. Maybe you slightly open the eyes at this point, finding a soft gaze. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Keep the hands at the base of the skull. Pull the rib cage in, but then peel the elbows to the space behind you. So getting a little bit of an opening in the shoulders. And then on your exhale, just lift up and out of the waist and lean over to the right. So right elbow leans down towards the floor. Make sure that the left glute and sit bones stay engaged with the floor. And then inhale, come back through center. And exhale, find the other side. Left elbow reaches down towards the mat, but you're lifting up and out of the waist so that we're lengthening out down the right side body without collapsing into the left rib cage. On your inhale, come back through center. One more time, one breath per movement. Exhale, round through the back body, chin in towards chest. Tuck tailbone down and in. Inhale, pull the heart through, peel the elbows open, gaze lifts. Come back to a neutral spine. Pull the rib cage in. On your exhale, lean up and over to the right. Inhale, rebound right back through center, and then lift up and over. Exhale to the left. Inhale to come back through center, releasing the hands. We're going to keep ourselves in a seat. You could be cross-legged. You could also be sitting on the shins. We're just going to walk the upper body forward. So starting to lengthen out the low back, getting maybe a little bit of an opening in the hips. If it's available to you here, and you're welcome to stay right in this shape, or you could thread the right arm underneath you and press the right shoulder down towards the floor, but equally shift the left shoulder down as well. So you're keeping the shoulders squared off and really softening into an opening on the outer back of the right shoulder. Inhale to come back through center, right arm extends, and then exhale, swap it out. Again, shift the left shoulder down towards floor, and then also shift the right shoulder down so that the right shoulder isn't popping open. One more exhale to soften a little bit deeper into the stretch. And then on your inhale, come back through center. Left arm reaches long. Last cycle of breath right here. Letting heart towards the floor. Glutes are engaged with the mat. And then keeping the palms rooted, finger pads, knuckle pads rooted. We're going to shift forward, finding kind of a back bendy, heart opening shape, which probably looks different for everyone doing this video because you might have been seated a little bit different than me. And then come back through neutral. And we'll find ourselves in a tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees underneath the hips, your fingers are spread. On your inhale, open the collarbones, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. So coming into a cow pose, we're gonna hold this shape, but then on your exhale, bend into the elbows, lowering the chin and the chest to the floor. On your exhale, as you press up, we're gonna round through the back body, finding a cat pose. Maybe you even shift onto fingertips so that the palms are lifted. Glutes engaged, tailbone tucks down. Drop the palms to the floor, open the heart, elbows graze the rib cage as you drop chin and chest to the floor. On your exhale, press up. Shift to the fingertips, active round through the back body. Last one, drop the palms, open the heart. Elbows graze the rib cage as you drop the chin and chest down. We're going to pause here. This time you're going to tuck onto the toes a little bit if you haven't already. And then we're going to pull the heart through, coming all the way into a baby cobra. So lowering all the way down to the belly, roll the shoulders together on the back body. And then release the arms out to a T. On your exhale, you're going to reach the right hand back towards the right knee. Left fingertips reach forward. And then inhale back through center and swap it out. Left hand reaches towards the left knee. And imagine someone standing at the top of your mat, pulling the right fingertips forward. A couple more times. Inhale through center, reach over to the right. Inhale center, exhale to the left. Inhale back through center one more time. Reach over to the right. Left fingertips extend out past the front of the mat. Inhale center, last one. Exhale to the left. Inhale back through center. Both arms extend in front of you. Really lift the back of the heart to the sky and then lift the feet from the floor as well. And then tap the big toes together. And then release the feet and tap the back corners of the mat. And then lift the toes, squeeze the heels together. And then release, tap the back corners of the mat. Couple more times, lift the toes, squeeze heels together. And then release, tap the back corners. Last one, lift, squeeze the heels together and pause. If this is too much for the low back, arms can come back to airplane wings at any point. Lift the back of the heart even a little bit higher. And then on your exhale, release the hands underneath the shoulders. Release the toes to the mat. You're going to curl onto the balls of the feet. Ground into the knees and press up into a tabletop position. Active round through the back body. And then staying tucked onto the toes, let's sit back onto the heels. Interlace all 10 fingers, and we'll roll out the wrists. So if you've done my classes, you know I always make time for opening up the wrists, switch direction of the circles. And then coming back through neutral. Coming into your tabletop, and then you're going to flip the hands so that the hands point towards the knees. If this is too much, you can do it one hand at a time. And in general, with wrists, and really in pretty much anything with body, if it's uncomfortable, that's okay. Breathe into it. If there is sharp pain, absolutely back out of the shape. If you feel like you could take a little bit more, you can lean the upper body back until the heels of the palms just barely lift from the mat. Getting some length into the front of the wrists. And then releasing the palms back down, backs of the hands to the floor, fingers face each other. Open the hands as wide as you can, so all 10 fingernails are on the mat. And then on your exhale, squeeze the hands into fists as tight as you possibly can. Open the hands wide, and then squeeze into a fist. Open the hands. Exhale to squeeze in. A couple more. Inhale, open up. Exhale to squeeze. Curl back onto the toes. We're just going to shake out the wrists now. And kind of letting the wrists come back to neutral. And then we'll come back into a tabletop, this time walking hands all the way forward and letting the heart soften towards the mat for puppy pose, keeping hips lifted. So the idea in this shape is that heart would reach the floor before the chin would. And then on your inhale, let's come back up to the hands, finding your tabletop position, and then tuck onto the toes, and the hips up and back, downward dog. So finding our first down dog, a practice couple cycles of breath here to paddle out the feet, bending into one knee and then the other knee, shifting hips side to side. And then come up high onto the toes, take a deep bend into the knees, and on your exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine, open the mouth for your exhale, release. One more time, inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Open the mouth, exhale, let it go. On your inhale, let's halfway lift, lengthen, pause here. Micro bend in the knees so the joint space is protected, and then bring the hands to interlace at the base of the skull. Elbows point out. Pull the rib cage up and in, and then really peel the elbows up towards ceiling. So again, we're opening the shoulders without any back bend in the shape. Keep the upper body forward. Take a deep bend into the knees, so finding a bear pose. So working towards bringing thighs parallel to the floor. Start to shift your weight into the left foot, and then see if you can hover the right foot directly up above the mat, literally just an inch. Right toes are flexed. Keep pulling elbows up. Crown of the head stays reaching forward as if I press the slow motion button. Right toes step all the way to the back of the mat. Keep the upper body forward, 45-degree angle with upper body and long line of energy down the back body. Keep the arms as they are. We're going to slow soften right knee to the floor. On your inhale, upper body lifts. Peel the heart through the shoulders. Elbows pull apart and down towards the back corners of the mat. Release the hands down kind of behind you, so we're opening up the shoulders here, but pointing fingertips towards floor. And then as you release the back bend, straighten out through the left leg and circle the hands forward, palms all the way to touch. I'm going to take some big circles with the arms here. So on your inhale, rebend into the left knee, arms reach up overhead, full range of motion in the shoulders until the fingertips drop down to point towards the floor. It's possible that they could even touch the floor. And then on your exhale, bend or straighten out through the left leg, complete the circle, fingertips extend forward. One more time, inhale, come up through center, bend into the left knee, circle the hands behind the back, full range of motion in the shoulders. Once the fingertips point to the floor, re-straighten through the left leg, fingertips reach to the front of the room. Release the hands to frame out the left foot, just 1 or 2 cycles of breath right here in your half split Ardha Hanumanasana. Keep inviting left toes back and left hip back. And then point out the left foot here, really ground into the fingertips. See if you can lift the left foot up off the floor. So engaging into the lower core and into the hip flexors and quads. Drop the left foot back down. We're going to kick off of the right toes, come all the way forward, standing split. On your exhale, right foot plants next to the left at the top of the mat. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Clasp opposite elbows and sway side to side. On your next inhale, let's halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Release hands to shins. Open the mouth, exhale, release. Inhale to rise, come all the way through, standing palms to touch overhead. Let the right hand catch the left wrist. Lift up and out of the waist and lean over to the right. Really root into the left heel. On your inhale, come back through center. Left hand to the right wrist, lift up and out of the waist and over to the left. Inhale to come back through center. On your exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, long spine. On your exhale, let's release, plant the hands, step back into a high plank. So wrists are underneath the shoulders. Check that all 10 finger pads and knuckle pads are really engaged with the floor. Take a step back with both feet, a baby step, and then take a step forward with both hands. Finding kind of a hollow plank here, strong tuck of the tailbone. Press the floor away, so you're lifting up out of the shoulders, chin in towards chest. If this feels pretty easy, step the hands even farther away, the toes even farther back. Last big cycle of breath. And then soften the knees to the floor. We're going to keep the palms out far in front of you. Drop the belly and the hips down and forward, rolling through to seal pose. If this is too much, you can drop the forearms to the floor, finding Sphinx. And keep pulling the heart to the front of the room, shoulders together and down the back body. On your exhale, soften heart to the floor, hands slide under the shoulders, curl into the toes, and then either with the knees grounded or lifted for more of a challenge, press all the way up, high plank. Exhale, send the hips back, downward dog. Articulating each vertebrae in the spine one at a time. On your exhale, ripple forward, high plank, wrists underneath the shoulders. Bend into the knees. Let the tailbone pull the hips back, downward dog. 2 more times. Exhale, ripple forward, high plank. Take your time. Bend into the knees and let the tailbone pull the hips back. 1 more time. Exhale, roll forward, high plank, and pause. Active press the floor away. Bend into the knees, let the tailbone pull the hips back. On your next exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet to the top of the mat. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Open the mouth, exhale, let it go. 2 more times. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to release. Last one on your inhale, halfway lift. We're going to pause here. Micro bend in the knees so that the joint space is protected. Hands come to interlace at the base of the skull. Keep pulling elbows up, but also knit the rib cage in. So there's no back bend in the shape, but we're feeling some opening in the shoulders. Take a deep bend into both knees. Working towards maybe getting the thighs parallel to the floor. Start to shift your weight into the right foot. Left foot lifts literally an inch above the mat. Left toes are flexed. Keep pulling elbows up, and then slow motion. Left toes step all the way to the back of the mat. Keep the upper body forward. Really kicking the left heel towards the floor so you're getting length even into the left Achilles tendon and calf. We're also reaching the crown of the head forward, pulling the elbows up. Soften the left knee to the floor. On your inhale, peel the heart open towards sky. Elbows pull apart and down towards back corners of the mat. Really invite the hips down and forward here so that we're also lengthening through the front of the left hip. Keep the heart through the shoulders. Release the hands so that the fingers point kind of down towards the mat. Like towards either side of the left knee-ish. On your inhale, we're going to circle the arms up overhead, straighten out through the right leg, and reach the fingertips to the front of the room. Rebend into the right knee. Full range of motion, circle the hands back until the fingertips reach the floor. Finish the circle as you reach fingertips forward, straighten out right leg, pull the right toes back. Again, full range of motion in the shoulders. Circle the hands all the way behind you until fingertips point towards floor. And then last one, straighten out the right leg. Circle the fingers forward to the front of the room. This time dropping hands to frame out right foot. A couple full cycles of breath here. Inviting right toes back. Inviting right hip back. For this last cycle of breath, active point through the right toes. Come up onto fingertips. And then see if you can hover the right foot above the floor. Strong engagement in the lower core and into the right hip flexors and quads. Drop the right foot back down. We're going to kick off of the left toes to shift all the way forward, standing split. Just a cycle of breath here, lengthening out through the right back of the right thigh, the hamstrings. On your exhale, left foot plants next to the right at the top of the mat. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Clasp opposite elbows here. And then just find a little bit of a bounce. As if you're trying to tap the elbows to the floor, although it's more than likely that they won't touch. Release the hands down. One vertebrae at a time. On your inhale, slow roll up the spine. Come all the way up to standing. Arms extend up overhead at the top. On your exhale, palms to touch heart center. Close the eyes for one full cycle of breath. We're going to start to pick up the pace here in a moment. Couple rounds of sun salutations. But first, really root into heels. Reach through crown of the head and connect to the cyclical inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, arms extend high, gaze up to fingertips. With your exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, long spine, reach through the crown of the head. On your exhale, let's release, plant the hands. Step or hop to the back of the mat. Either choosing your vinyasa, so you could lower all the way to the belly, baby cobra, or halfway and find an up dog. Use the exhale to pull the hips up and back, downward facing. Couple more sun A's, always option to add on a crow pose or an inversion on your way back if you want it, or to skip the vinyasas entirely. Exhale the feet to the top of the mat. Move with your breath. It's okay if you're not with my cues. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to release. On your inhale, come all the way to standing, arms extend up overhead. Maybe a little back bend at the top. On your exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, long spine. On your exhale, release, plant the hands, step or hop or play. So again, always option to add on something like a crow pose. Eventually, meeting in your downward dog. Exhale, feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Rebound, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. Come through, standing palms to touch, maybe a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale, release. Plant the hands, take it back. Either a vinyasa or a child's pose or a flow. A flow is a vinyasa. Meeting in a down dog. We're going to take one more round, so we're really just picking up heartbeat pulse at this time. On your exhale, feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale to rise. Always option, little back bend. And then exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release, plant the hands, step or hop or play, or make something up along the way. Full opportunity to get playful. On your next exhale, feet to the top of the mat, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift, long spine. Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to interlace at the base of the skull, elbows point up. Deep bend into the knees, slight tuck of the tailbone. Shift your weight into the left foot, lift the right foot just to a hover. So right foot an inch above the mat. Keep the upper body forward, slow motion step back, finding your power lunge. Kick the right heel back, straighten out through the left leg, keep the spine parallel to the floor. And then rebend into the left knee, shift forward, right knee taps the back of the left calf, right heel pulls in towards left glute. Slow motion step back, right toes to the back of the mat, straighten out through the left leg. And then keeping the right foot exactly as it is, now rebend into the left knee, arms extend forward towards the front of the room. On your inhale, open up, warrior two, right foot spins flat, gazes over left middle finger. Let the shoulders soften down and back, and imagine someone playing tug-of-war on the fingertips. Inhale, reverse your triangle, so you're straightening out left leg, right hand to the right thigh, left arm up and over. And then rebend into the left knee, extended side angle, but as you reach left fingertips forward, pause with the left hand to the front of the room, and then reach the right hand to the front of the room as well. On your inhale, release both hands to the inside of left foot, shift to the ball of the right foot. You might heel toe the left foot off to the left side of the mat a little bit. We're going to play with keeping the right knee lifted here. Really drop the hips down. You can either stay right here, or you can work the left shoulder underneath the left knee, and maybe you come up onto fingertips. Maybe arms extend to a T, snail pose. These are all just options. You can even work towards the bind, hands interlaced behind the back. Again, all just options. Hands can also stay on the floor here. And let's release both hands back to the inside of the left foot. Shift forward, taking a big step with the right foot and landing in your Malasana Yogi squat. Walk the feet even a little bit wider, And then lift the hips so that thighs are parallel to the floor. This is a super kind of awkward, funky shape. Reach right hand to the left ankle, left hand to the right ankle. This is my favorite for opening up into the hips and lengthening out the low back, and it's also a burner for the thighs. Keep the feet wide as they are. We're just going to release the clasp of the hands and straighten out the legs, spinning the feet parallel to the mat, although the feet might be wider or as wide as the mat. Really drop the head, chin in towards chest. And on your inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale to release. Walk the feet back to hip width distance apart. So heel telling the feet in. And then option to add on a crow pose if you want it, planting the hands shoulder width distance, maybe knees to the arms, maybe one foot lifts, maybe both feet lift. Crow pose is totally optional. You can step back, you can hop back, you can vinyasa back. Eventually, we'll meet in our downward dog. On your next exhale, step, walk, or hop the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. One more time here, hands come to interlace at the base of the skull. Peel the elbows up towards ceiling and then take a deep bend into the knees. So working towards bringing thighs parallel to the mat. Keep the left foot flat as it is on the floor, but see if you can lift it up directly up above the mat, just an inch. Keep pulling elbows up. Slow motion, left toes, step all the way to the back of the mat. Keep the crown of the head forward. As you do, play with straightening out through the right leg. Spine is parallel to the floor, elbows are pulling up. Bend into the right knee, shift forward. As you do, left knee comes to tap, right calf, Shiva squat. And left toes, step all the way to the back of the mat. One more time, straighten out through right leg. Really kicking left heel towards floor. Keep the upper body forward, rebend into the right knee, arms extend to the front of the room. On your inhale, windmill open, warrior two. Left foot spins flat. Gaze is over right middle finger. On your inhale, reverse your triangle. So right leg straightens, left hand, left thigh, right arm comes up and over. And rebending into the right knee, cartwheel both hands to the inside of the right foot. Oh, I'm wrong. Side angle, reach right fingertips forward and left fingertips forward also. So challenging the side angle pose. Last cycle of breath here. And then both hands to the inside of the right foot. Shift to the ball of the left foot. Drop the hips down and forward, but keep the left knee lifted here for this round. Again, you can stay right here. If this is where you're at and this feels good, hang out in this shape. Or if it's available, you could start to work the right shoulder underneath right knee-ish. Maybe you come up onto fingertips. Option to extend arms out. Keep pressing the hips down and forward, and maybe you even work towards bind. A lot of opening in the shoulders. And the hips. More the hips than the shoulders, I think. Okay, let's release the bind if you've got it. Both hands to the inside of the right foot. And then take a big step forward, Malasana Yogi Squat. Hips drop low, elbows to the knees, hands to the heart. Reach the right hand off to the right side of the mat. Left fingertips open up. An option to find the bind here. Left hand reaches behind back, or even working to interlace the hands around the right leg. Okay, I'm going to give you the option to play here. This might be where you hang out, or you could start to shift weight into the left foot, and maybe you play with coming up to standing, keeping the bind around the right leg. Totally just playful. Send the hips back, maybe, heart forward, maybe. Really testing the balance, equal weight underneath left foot if you're standing. And then slow bend into the left knee. Coming down just as sweetly as you came up. All right, from whatever shape you're in, let's release any bind that you've got and transition to the other side. Left hand to the left side of the mat, right fingertips peel open. Either hang out right here or add on a bind. Maybe hands interlace. This is also a place that you could use a strap. And then we'll shift weight into the right foot. Maybe. Maybe you play with coming up to standing. One point of focus for your gaze will help your balance. If you're up and you want more, you could play with sending hips back, heart forward. And again, it's okay if you're not exactly with my pace. Take your time. And then if you've come up, to slow bend into the right knee, to release left toes back down. And release any bind if you've got it. Coming back through center, palms to touch at the heart. Let tailbone root, crown of the head reach. And maybe you close the eyes here, one big cycle of breath. And using an exhale, let's lift the hips, finding your forward fold, Uttanasana, feet step to hip width distance apart. On your inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale to release, plant the hand, step or hop to the back of the mat. Either adding on your vinyasa or sending the hips straight back, meeting in a downward dog. On your exhale, feet to the top of the mat, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale to release. Inhale, halfway lift. Pause here, micro bend in the knees, hands to the base of the skull. Deep bend in both knees, lift the right knee or right foot to a hover above the floor. So we're picking up the pace, we're adding on. Right toes, step all the way to the back of the mat. Once they land, straighten out through the left leg. Rebend into the left knee, shift forward, right knee taps left calf, and pause. This time we're going to peel open, warrior three, right leg kicks long behind you. Keep pulling the elbows up. On your exhale, slow bend into the left knee, right toes drop, arms extend forward. Open up, warrior two. Right foot is parallel to the back edge of the mat, reach the fingertips long. Inhale, reverse your triangle, straighten out left leg, right hand down the right thigh. And then rebend into the left knee. We're going to come all the way forward, half moon. It's okay if it takes a couple steps to get there. Right toes, right fingertips, reach. Option here to bend into the right knee and hold on to the outside of the right foot. Chapasana, sugar cane pose.
It's 9 hours.
And releasing right toes if you've got them. On your exhale, deep bend into the left knee. Outside edge of the right foot is going to drop off to the left side of the mat. So left knee is bent. Right foot to the left side of the mat. Right hand is down, left fingertips open up. And if you want more of a stretch, you could play with re-straightening through left leg. Drop the left hand back down and then sweep the right toes high, standing split. Maybe you hover fingertips or bring palms to touch at heart. Take a slow bend into the left knee until right toes drop back to the back of the mat, and then we're going to plant the hands, sweep the left toes back, three-legged down dog. On your exhale, shift forward, left knee taps left elbow, pause here and hold it. And then keeping the knee glued to the arm, we're just going to traction the left knee up and down the arm. So tapping from the left wrist all the way into the left armpit. On your inhale, let's kick all the way back to wild thing. Left toes behind you. Left hand lifts from the floor. Take the left hand into a fist and roll out the wrist. On your inhale, as you come back through center, left hand is going to plant. Slow motion button on the TV. Left knee comes across the body to the right elbow and pause. Keep the knee glued to the arm and then traction the knee up and down. One more time, we're going to open all the way up to wild thing. Left toes drop behind you. Left fingertips reach. On your inhale, come back through center, high plank. Wrists underneath the shoulders. Hold for 5 cycles of breath. Strong tuck of the tailbone, glutes engage. Really press the floor away. 2 more cycles of breath here. Knees can always drop if you need them to. On your exhale, we're gonna lower all the way down to the belly, letting elbows graze the rib cage. Whew. Untuck toes. Bring hands wider than the mat. Then we're gonna tent the fingertips. Pressing into the fingers on your inhale, lift the heart. Shoulders roll together and down the back body. On your exhale here, we're gonna bend into the right elbow and let the right shoulder drop towards the floor. Inhale to come back through center. With your exhale, left shoulder drops. Inhale to come back through center. On your exhale, release heart to the floor. Hands slide underneath the shoulders. We'll meet in a down dog. So you can press up through tabletop or high plank, or you could take a child's pose along the way. Landing in your down dog with 1 big cycle of breath. Last time, last side for this sequence. On your exhale, step, walk, hop, handstand, however you get to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen the spine, and exhale to release. Feet are hip width distance on your inhale, halfway lift. This is our last time here. Hands to interlace at the base of the skull, elbows point out to the edges of the mat. Take a deep bend into both knees, working towards until the thighs are parallel to the mat-ish. Shift your weight into the right foot. Left foot lifts just to a hover above the floor. So really just an inch above the mat. Strong engagement in the right glutes. Slow motion step, left toes to the back of the mat. Woo, I'm getting wobbly here. Reach the crown of the head forward, straighten out through the right leg. It's okay if it does not come all the way straight. We also don't want to lock out the right knee joint. Rebend into the right knee, shift forward, left knee taps right calf. Keep peeling the elbows up towards the ceiling. Inhale to kick, warrior 3, left leg kicks back. Spine is parallel to the floor. Slow bend into the right knee, left toes drop to the back of the mat, arms extend to the front of the room. Peel open, warrior 2. Left foot spins flat, so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Twist the upper body to the left just a little bit. On your inhale, reverse your triangle, straightening out through the right leg, left hand down, left thigh, right arm up and over. We're going to shift all the way forward, half moon, so rebending into right knee. Weight comes into the right foot. Right hand is either to the mat or to a prop or to a hover. And left toes and left fingertips reach. Option to bend into the left knee here and hold on to the outside edge of left foot. And if you've got that clasp on the foot, find a big kick. And last big cycle of breath. And releasing the left toes if you've got them. Bend deeply into the right knee. Outside edge of the left foot drops off to the right side of the mat. Left hand stays down, right fingertips peel open. So think of stacking the right shoulder on top of the left. We're lengthening the outer right hip, but we're also twisting out the upper body here. So think of spinning the heart up towards ceiling. And releasing, right hand back down, left toe sweep high, standing split. And again, option to play here with hovering fingertips, holding onto right ankle. And then slow bend into the right knee. Left toes drop all the way to the back of the mat. Once the left foot is back, frame out the right foot. Kick the right toes all the way back, three-legged down dog. Right foot sweeps high. On your exhale, shift forward, right knee taps the right elbow. We're gonna pause here. And then slide the knee up and down the arm, so all the way from the right wrist up into the armpit. On your inhale, the transition is all the way back into a wild thing. So you're going to drop the right toes behind you. You could stay right there, or right hand could lift. On your inhale, again, slow down the transitions as the right hand comes through center. Right knee comes across the body to the left elbow, and pause. Slide the knee up and down the arm. One more time, last time, all the way to Wild Thing. Right toes drop behind you, right fingertips reach. On your inhale, come back through center, high plank. This time on your exhale, come down to the forearms, forearm plank. Again, tuck the tailbone down so that glutes really engage. Press the floor away with forearms. Strong through the center line of the body. Keep pressing floor away. Final 3 cycles of breath. And then softening knees to the floor. Stay on the elbows, untuck the toes, and roll the hips down and forward. Coming through to your Sphinx pose. Again, always option to lift the elbows if seal is available in the body, and if it doesn't allow or doesn't cause any crunching anywhere in the spine. And if you've lifted the elbows, let's drop them back down. Release the heart to the floor, and then you're going to bend into the right knee and reach your right hand around for the outside of the right foot. Tuck the tailbone down, knees squeeze in towards each other. And then we'll swap it out. Right leg extends, bend into the left knee. Left hand reaches around for the outside of left foot. Tuck the tailbone down. You can either stay right here, or you can bend into both knees, reaching hands around for the outsides of both feet. And again, this might be as far as you take the shape. You do not have to go farther than this. If this feels like a lot of opening, hang out with it. Or you can roll the shoulders onto back body, flex the toes, and then kick into the hands to peel the heart through. So keep pulling the shoulders onto the back. So you're inviting the heart to the front of the room, so that we're not just dumping into the low spine. If there's crunchiness in the low spine, back out of the shape. Keep pulling knees together. See if you can stay a breath longer than you want to. And exhale to release. Keep the knees bent. Drop the hands under the shoulders. And just windshield wiper the legs from side to side. Keep knees grounded. Let's find our way back to neutral. We're going to press into the hands. Come all the way into a child's pose. Sending hips towards heels, heart between thighs. And the fingertips walk long out in front of you. If you can here, bend into the elbows and bring the palms to touch behind the head. And keep pressing the heart down towards the floor. And extend fingertips back out to the top of the mat, engaging the finger pads, knuckle pads. On your inhale, let's roll up into a tabletop. Curl onto the toes. Send the hips up and back, downward facing. Come up onto the toes as high as you can, and then kick the heels down towards the floor. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. Inhale high onto the toes. Everything else stays the same. Now kick the heels down. A couple more high onto the toes. Exhale, heels kick. Last one, high onto the toes, deep bend into the knees. Exhale, play with your hop, maybe even into a handstand for a moment, landing at the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Open the mouth. Exhale, release. Hands interlace at the base of the skull. Pull the chin in towards chest. Elbows pull in towards each other. One vertebrae at a time. Slow roll up the spine. So head and neck are last to lift. And come all the way up to standing. Release the hands down by the sides. We're going to play with one last shape before we start to take it down, because I think we're super warmed up for it. And that is dancer's pose, but I'm going to give a couple of different options. Option number 1, let's all shift our weight into the left foot. Right knee bends. You're either going to just reach right hand around for the foot, left fingertips extend up overhead, and this could be where you hang out through the entire shape. Something that I like to do that totally modifies this shape is to reach left hand around and interlace both hands around the right foot. And again, this might be where you hang out. The thing that I think is great about this variation is it becomes a really great shoulder opener. When you kick into the hands, you can pull the heart through, and then maybe you lever the upper body forward. Again, this is just an option. You can also just have right hand on the right foot and left fingertips reaching to the front of the room. Make sure you're really stomping the floor away from you with the left foot. So you're staying engaged in the left glutes and down the back of the left leg. On your exhale, you're gonna release the foot, palms to touch out in front of you as you drop the right toes to the back of the mat. We've been here lots. Drop the right knee down, circle the hands all the way down behind the back, this time interlacing the hands. Pull the heart through the shoulders. We're gonna keep the interlace of the hands as we release the back bend, lift the right knee, and bring the left shoulder to the left knee. So we're in a modified humble warrior on the ball of the right foot. Keep pulling heels of the hands towards each other. Release the hands to frame out the left foot. We're going to kick the left toes all the way back, three-legged down dog. And then on your exhale, we're going to step the left foot off to the right side of the mat, somewhere up towards the right hand-ish. And then straighten out through the left leg as much as you can. It's okay if the leg is not all the way straight. We're on the outside edge of left foot. And then here we're just gonna bend and straighten into the left leg. This might just be a really small movement for you. Next time you're bent into the left knee, you're gonna slide left knee over to the left wrist, landing in a pigeon pose, but we're gonna take a variation. So drop onto the left hip, and then bring the right knee into the bottom of the left foot. So we're in two kind of 90-degree shape with the legs. You might be half on your mat, half off of your mat right now. That is just fine. Bring palms to touch at the heart. And then for a moment, some mobility in the hips. We're gonna roll the knees up towards the ceiling and then over to the other side. And then back through center and over to the left. One more time, roll through center. If you need to use the hands on the floor here, you can. And this might make you scooch around on your mat. That's also okay. Once you're back at the top, extend the fingertips forward. And then drop the hands to the floor and maybe down to forearms. So this is a modified pigeon shape. Kind of a funky one, but it tends to be a little bit more gentle on the knees. And I think it gets a little bit deeper into the outer left hip, low back situation. Someone named that muscle. I don't know. All right, on your inhale, let's press back up to the hands. If you can safely, swing the right leg back behind you, curling onto the toes. And then kick the left foot all the way back, three-legged down dog. Bend the knee and open the hip. We're gonna pause here. Option to stay right here, or one last playful shape for this side. Maybe you come up onto the right fingertips, or start to walk the right hand back, or maybe right hand reaches towards the left toes. And if you get the clasp, find a little bit of a kick. Really important that you know how to laugh at yourself when you fall out of this one, because it's harder than it looks. Let's come back through center, downward dog. On your exhale, ripple the spine forward, high plank. Slow motion, lower all the way to the belly. Once you're down, keep the hands planted, keep the toes tucked. Inhale, press all the way back up, high plank. Exhale, send the hips back, downward dog. Deepen in the knees. One more time, step walk, hop the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise, come all the way through, standing palms to touch. And exhale, hands to touch at heart. Last sequence for this practice. Weight comes into the right foot. So Nattarajasana, dancer's pose, technically is Left hand to the outside of the left foot, right fingertips extended. You can hang out here. Or if you want to play with something that could potentially be new, right hand reaches as well to interlace hands around the left foot. And again, this might be where you hang out. This could feel like a big stretch in the shoulders and in the left quads. If you're ready for it, flex into the left toes. And we're going to start here. Before pivoting forward, roll the shoulders onto the back body, and then kick the left hand or left foot into the hands and feel the heart pulled to the front of the room as if it was on a string and someone in front of you was pulling the heart through. And then maybe you lever the upper body forward. All are just options. Really stomp the floor away from you with the right foot so you're staying engaged in the right glutes. As gently as you can, which might not be that gentle, and that's okay. Left toes kick behind you as you release the hands and sweep the fingertips to the front of the room. Once you're back in your power lunge, soften the left knee down. Circle the hands again, full range of motion in the shoulders. Circle the hands behind the back until they interlace. If you can, remember which way you interlace the first time, do the opposite here. Again, peel the heart through. Heels of the palms squeeze in towards each other. Keep the hands as they are. We're going to release the back bend. Curl onto the ball of the left foot to lift the left knee, and as you do, drop the right shoulder towards right knee. Drop the head. Soften chin in towards chest maybe, which might test your balance if you drop the gaze. And releasing the hands to frame out the right foot. Kick the right toes all the way back, three-legged down dog. And your exhale, right knee comes across the body, and you're going to step the right foot somewhere off to the left side of the mat. And as far up towards the left hand as you can. And then we're just going to play here with bending and straightening through the right leg. As you're ready for it, moving towards pigeon pose. Again, we'll take a variation. Right knee comes into the right wrist. Start with left leg extended long behind you. See, I'm on this giant mat, and somehow I've even ended up off of the mat. I'm going to move forward. Okay, if you end up off the mat. We're going to drop onto the right hip for a moment so that the left knee can swing in. So again, we're creating kind of a 90-degree angle with right leg, and then also with the left leg, 90, give or take a bit. Palms to touch at the heart. Again, if you need to use the hands on the floor at any point, you absolutely can. Working some mobility in the hip joints. As you inhale, come through center and over to the other side. So what we're doing here is we're rotating the femur and the hip socket. Inhale back through center and over to the right. Inhale back through center, over to the left. Last time, inhale through center. Exhale over to the right and pause. As if you're reaching for something that's just past your mat. Fingertips extend forward and really reach through the upper body. And then as you're ready for it, hands drop to the floor, maybe forearms to the floor. Keep the spine long here. And maybe eventually you soften into bringing forehead to the floor, to the backs of the hands. All are, as always, just options. Using an inhale, let's press back to the hands. If you can, swing the left leg back behind you. We're going to kick all the way back to our three-legged down dog. So curl onto the left toes, right foot sweeps high. Bend into the right knee. So as if you're pointing right knee directly up towards ceiling. Again, you could hang out here. You could come up onto left fingertips. You could start to walk the left hand back towards back of the mat, or even reach left hand towards right toes. If you get the clasp on the foot, a little bit of a kick. And then releasing back through your downward dog. both hands, both feet to the floor. Drop the head here, so really pulling chin in towards chest as if you're looking for your belly button. And keep the chin in. Keep the gaze on belly button as you otherwise roll forward into a high plank. Chin in towards chest. Roll the shoulders together on the back body as you peel the heart through. Lift the gaze. Untuck toes. And then stay grounded into the knees. Press all the way back into a child's pose. Hips to the heels, heart to the thighs. Maybe you find a little rock or sway from side to side. So none of these shapes need to be totally still. You can always find a little bit of movement in the stillness to roll out the joints. On your inhale, come back up to seated. And let's extend the legs out long. We're going to bring legs wide into a straddle here. Spine is tall. Toes stay pointed up to the ceiling. On your inhale, arms extend up overhead. And then on your exhale, you're just going to reach forward as far as you can, even if that's not very far. On your inhale, come back up. Exhale, reach for something that's just past the top of your mat. Inhale, come back up. 2 more times. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, back up. Last one. Exhale, forward. This time, releasing hands to the floor, or forearms to the floor, or belly to the floor, or wherever you land. If this shape in general is really tight in your body, you can sit up onto something. So you could bring a block or a pillow underneath the hips. And again, keep pointing the toes up towards the ceiling so the femur bones are not rotating in. And then using an inhale, come back up through seated. Bend into the knees so that bottoms of the feet come together. Hold on to the big toes. Spine is tall. And then exhale to fold. Elbows press into inner thighs. Inviting knees towards floor. And again, even here, maybe you find a little bit of a bounce. Inhale to come back up through center. Keep the knees bent, plant the feet hip width distance apart, and you may scooch forward on the mat. I'm going to bring us into a shoulder stand. If you have headstand or forearm stand or handstand in your practice, and you want to play with a different inversion, you can also do that instead. If you're with me, arms extend forward, and then we're going to slow roll down the spine. Make this as slow and juicy as you would like to in the core, until eventually you make your way all the way down. Then arms drop out by the sides. We're going to get into this shape by first extending the legs up towards the ceiling. And then again, use the strength of the core without momentum, or with as little momentum as you can, to lift the hips and roll back into a plow pose. Head and neck stay in line with the spine, so we're not moving the head from side to side, meaning don't look at the computer screen. You can also take other variations of this shape, like bending into the knees and bringing the knees into the ears for ear pressure pose. Or if it feels supported, you could straighten the legs up toward the ceiling for shoulder stand. Really, really, really important that the neck feels supported. If there's ever any question of tension there, you've gone too far and back out of the shape. And we're going to take just as slow of a transition out. So rolling down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Once you're down, hips to the floor, keep right knee into the chest and extend the left leg down onto the mat. Straighten right leg up towards ceiling and interlace hands either around right thigh or the right shin, or maybe the hands can interlace all the way around the foot. One last hamstring stretch here. Right thigh squeezes in towards right rib cage, and then big flex into the right toes. Left hand reaches for either the outside edge of the right foot, or if that's not available, somewhere along the outside of the right leg. Right arm drops, and then exhale, guide the right leg over the body, finding a supine twist. Check that the right shoulder is touching floor, and maybe you drop gaze over towards right fingertips. And using an inhale, let's come back through center, bend into the right knee. And then with hands interlaced around the right knee, just take some big circles. So again, moving the femur head in the hip socket. And then we'll swap it out. Right leg extends long, left knee comes in. We'll start here by extending leg up. Hands interlace around left thigh or left shin, or maybe all the way to the foot. And see if you can really keep the back of the right thigh glued down to the floor. And then right hand reaches either for the outside edge of left foot or for somewhere along the left leg. Left arm drops. And exhale to find the twist, rolling left leg over the right side of the body while also keeping the left shoulder engaged with the floor. And again, option here to drop the gaze towards left fingertips. And using an inhale to come back through center, bend into the left knee, hands to interlace around the left knee. And then again, just take some circles. And both knees pull into the chest one last time. Lift the shoulders from the floor. Clasp opposite elbows around the knees or work towards it. And then keeping that clasp, roll the spine, the head, the neck back down to the mat. Allowing eyes to close. Take a big inhale here. And on your exhale, landing in Shavasana, letting legs extend long to the top of the mat and arms drop out by the sides.